teams in the AFC. So to me, this is just a big opportunity for the Patriots to answer some questions as it is for the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Patriots want to answer one big question. Is the reign over? Is the Patriot way, is it time to evolve it, turn the page, try something different? I don't know, man. I'm thinking Kansas City Chiefs have to show tonight is the night, today is the day we rewrite history. We're not playing the history books. We're not playing the Patriots of last year. This year, 2019, is the year of the Chiefs.
And you see the guys behind us getting loose, and we've seen them around the hotel. We saw them on the trip.
That's right.
These guys are locked in and ready to go. And two other guys we know are going to be locked into this game. Two of the best head coaches in NFL history are squaring off. And talk about Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, both in the top 6 in NFL history in wins as a head coach. And you're talking about a defensive-minded coach in Belichick, an offensive-minded coach in Andy Reid. So as a former player, or you football nerds out there that love the chess match, the game within the game, this is going to be a master class in that, whether it's personnel groupings, formations, the first 15 plays where they play that chess game of like how are they going to match up on this and on that. And we'll get into some of those matchups we're excited to watch. But you're talking about two of the best coaches in NFL history squaring off in a game that means a lot late in the season to both teams. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, heavyweight match. You'll see them jabbing and jabbing. Somebody's going to throw an uppercut, but you got to be able to stand up and finish the game. First half, maybe not so much scoring, but second half has been known a high-scoring second half because both of these teams are great at making adjustments. That's what makes them championship teams.
Yeah, you look at the stats, and we promoted them on social media all week. I did my Stats to Know video that the Bill Belichick's teams in 356 career games, Bill Belichick's defenses have given up 40 or more points 7 times. 3 of those 7 are Andy Reid during his time with the Chiefs. And you're talking about going all the way back to 2000 when Belichick started coaching this team. But the Patriots in Foxborough, we're talking about they're 5-0 this season. You can talk about strength of schedule, but they've taken care of business here. They're outscoring opponents by an average score of 28-10 here. So they've dominated here at home. But you look at the Chiefs side of things, Andy Reid, the last 3 games here in Foxborough, the Chiefs have averaged 32 points per game. So something's got to give. It's a dominant Patriots defense. They're number 1 in the league in scoring this year, 12.1 points per game. But this is an offense with Andy Reid that's had some success here.
Yeah, we got to look at 3 things. Time of possession, the turnover battle, and then penalties. If we can control penalties, turnover, and time of possession, that's who's going to end up winning this game.
Yeah, the other stat that jumps out to me is only 2 times this season have the Patriots allowed more than 14 points. And in both those games, they've lost, which to me is interesting in a couple of different ways. One, it's amazing that they've only given up more than 14 points twice, but it also shows that when they did struggle to put up, or when they did give up more than 14 points, the offense couldn't make up for it.
Right.
They couldn't get up all those points. And again, we'll break all that down here in a minute. But the other big news coming out of the officials meeting that I just left at not too long ago was Frank Clark, who was limited at practice on Wednesday and then missed Thursday, Friday. Wednesday was because of the shoulder, and then Thursday, Friday was because he was sick. He is inactive and will go today. I saw on social media he put up that picture of Michael Jordan in the flu game, which gave you a little bit of an insight as far as what he was thinking, but he obviously did enough to show the coaching staff and Rick Burkholder and the head athletic training staff and all those guys that he was healthy enough to play in this game. So that's something definitely to watch. And then for no other surprises as far as the inactives go for the Chiefs. We knew that Morris Claiborne and that Damian Williams were not going to go in this game. But Spencer Ware, who just joined the team earlier this week, knows the offense. He is active. Coach Reid said he wasn't going to start, but you might see him get some packages, get some time in there. And for the Patriots, they had 6 guys who were questionable coming into this game. All six are active, which is not all that surprising. But the one who one who's not playing today, Ted Karras, their center, is out. He was actually the number 2 center. He's not playing. So they're down to their number 3 center in James Ferentz, who's making his first career start at center. He's been in the league about 5 years, so that is definitely something to watch in this matchup. And that's it for inactive. So let's move on to the what to watch segment here, Shawn, because we're going to start with the Patriots offense against this Chiefs defense, because we just talked about James Ferentz, their center, being the 3rd string guy. Didn't have a lot of experience in there blocking for Tom Brady. That interior pressure, that Chris Jones, those guys up front, getting Brady not to be able to step up into the pocket, but getting to move laterally. Talking to the guys this week, that's the key for our defense. Get Brady to move laterally.
So many different ways to do it. Taking the linebackers and mugging them, putting them up in the A-gaps, causing the guards to have to gap down, protect, changing the protection to make a concern being any type of pressure up the middle. if you want to make Tom Brady nervous, it's not about edge pressure. He can control that. He can get rid of the ball. It's pressure that's directly up the middle. Those are the things that gets him worried. At 40-some years old, he doesn't want to be pulling himself off the ground multiple times. So I like to see that pressure come directly up the middle, get him worried, and not allow him to step into his throws.
Yeah, and you look at the numbers. Again, we talk about analytics, and I know I'm the numbers guy, but Tom Brady, if you look at the Pro Football Focus stats, when he's been under pressure this year and having guys around him where he has to get off his spot and has to move around, he's only completing 33% of his passes in that situation. It's last in the NFL. And then against the blitz. And normally you think you blitz a quarterback like Tom Brady, you're not going to fool. He's seen everything. He's only completing 54% of his passes when you blitz. So I took those numbers to our defensive guys. I talked to Hitchens, talked to a few of the guys, and I said, is this what you see on film, that you just blitz him and he's not very good? And they said, no. You have to pick your spots. You got to be smart about how you blitz him. And the key is to blitz him in situations where he doesn't feel like you're bringing pressure. So he didn't tell me what that was, but if you're looking at like a 2nd and 2, where you don't expect necessarily to bring the house or to bring pressure, those are the situations where you can get a negative play and try to make a game-changing play against this Patriots defense or this Patriots team that has 6 non-offensive touchdowns this season. So that's something to watch. And this Chiefs defense has been known to make plays the last couple of games. 7 turnovers, just 13 points per game. It's Julian Edelman, it's James White. Why are those the two guys that if you stop them, you're going to find success against this Patriots offense?
You got to reroute. You got to pressure these wide receivers, make them get off the jam, cover the linebackers. If it takes a safety, a corner, whatever you got to do, keep that coverage tight and keep the ball in Tom Brady's hands.
All right, and the last stat I'm going to give you is that the Patriots offense has faced man coverage 43.7% of the time this season, which is the 3rd most in the league, which goes along with all the narratives and everything being said about his weapons outside of Edelman and James White, that they have a lot of young receivers who can't get off press coverage, can't get open, which is why that number is so much higher than it used to be when they had guys like Rob Gronkowski or they had guys on the outside who could make plays and get open for Tom Brady. That hasn't been happening, and that's something to watch in this one. So right now, let's throw it to my earlier self as I was able to catch up with the X Factor, Dante Hall, to get his thoughts on today's game. Thanks, BJ. Appreciate that throw. Right now, where somebody doesn't need much of an introduction, I think it was a couple years ago, we were standing right here doing this interview, obviously talking X Factor, Dante Hall. Dante, how excited are you for this game?
Very excited, man. I feel like this is our time. The 3rd time is a charm this time. You know, we've played them close in Arrowhead, close here. I think we get it done tonight.
We just got done breaking down Tom Brady, what we got to do to get some pressure on him. What's the key for you for the Chiefs defense and going up against this Patriots offense?
Well, I think we got to keep them their confidence low. They haven't been looking very good on offense the past couple of weeks, so don't give them any confidence. Come right out, make sure they have doubt right away. So I think that's number 1. And then number 2, obviously, you got to get to the head of the snake. We got to get to Brady, and when opportunities present themselves, take advantage.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier, but James Ferentz, their 3rd-string center, is going to be the guy today, making his first career start at center after playing there at Iowa a few years ago. But one of the things that I talked about with some other guys this week regarding this game, because you know that you might have to play the Patriots again, is how much do you show and how much would you hold back in this kind of situation? You've played before. Were you ever in situations where you intentionally didn't open up the entire playbook, even in a game that's important for both teams to win? But how do you play that game within the game, that chess match?
That's a great question, and that makes sense, but I don't recall ever been in a situation like that, especially when you have the magnitude of this game as far as playoff seeding, potentially maybe getting New England in Arrowhead or not. So I think you open up the kitchen sink, you throw everything at them, you get this win, and you worry about future seedings in the future. So no, hold nothing back. We need how many plays does Andy have? 500? Yeah. We need all 500 on board today.
I think I asked you this before. Last time it was probably the same questions. The Patriots are known for taking away your top 1 or 2 options and then making everybody else beat you. In this Chiefs offense, that's a situation where it could be McCole Hardman, it could be Sammy Watkins. Who are you looking for? Who's your prediction on who could get hot for the Chiefs offense tonight?
Well, I think they're going to try to take away Tyreek, and that's going to leave a lot of one-on-ones with Travis Kelce. I look for Travis Kelce to have a huge game tonight. McCole Hardman may have a big play, a splash play here and there, but I look for a heavy doses of Travis Kelce converting 3rd downs, maybe a big play for a touchdown, and maybe some good blocking as well for the run game.
All right, we spent 30 minutes breaking this show down. Now I have a chance, and I ask you a lot of questions. We interview you all the time. So I'm going to try to bring something different.
Okay.
So we do these like random, like get to know you type questions. So this is what I want to know. Did you have when you were playing? Did you have any pregame rituals?
Did I?
What were your pregame rituals?
Ridiculous. It started off. I always made a CD At that time, that's how old I am.
You burned a CD.
I burned a CD.
You on LimeWire and Napster making
all that, burning a CD of a playlist. So every week I had to have a playlist of my mentality or whatever I was going into that particular game with. And then the second thing, I had to get to the stadium. I get in the hot tub first, come out of the hot tub, good stretch, come out on the field, back inside, spat, back on the field, make sure it feels good, back, get dressed, and go play ball.
Do you still have those CDs? Do you find them like randomly around the place?
I do actually, but I don't have a CD player. Okay. Cars don't come with CD players anymore.
That's going to be in the future. You're going to get those CDs out. We're going to bust them out and see if you remember those. All right, who's your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player was Deion Sanders. Yep, Deion Sanders was my favorite player. Barry Sanders was probably a close second, but Deion and then Barry.
Right, last one before we let you go. This is going to put you on the spot a little bit. Not trying to pick favorites, but who was your favorite teammate? Who was the favorite teammate you ever had? If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one, you won't even know him. You may remember this guy, Sylvester Morris.
Okay.
Sylvester Morris, Slimo, first round pick, 2000. We came in as brothers. We came in as teammates, actually, and then we left as brothers. That's my favorite guy. He's not the biggest household name. I love me some barbershop over there.
I was going to say, you got to do this. You can't see Shawn Barber off camera right now.
You know, I wasn't in barbershop's wedding. I was in Slimo's wedding. So that's my guy.
All right, and speaking of guys who have stories, one of our favorites, Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. We're going to go to him right now because he's got a story he's going to tell us that a lot of us can remember. That game back in 2014, Monday Night Football at Arrowhead Stadium. Let's send it to Mitch.
Belief is a strong attribute in any sporting endeavor, but it's especially so in the National Football League. Belief was brought by Andy Reid his first days as head coach in the Chiefs' kingdom. 2013, one of the greatest turnarounds in NFL history, but there was still external doubting. And 2014 started off rough with an 0-2 start. But were the Chiefs really a player in the AFC, and could they take on the big bad bullies of the American Football Conference? That was all answered on September the 29th, 2014. Another question was answered that night. Was Arrowhead Stadium really the loudest stadium in the NFL and one of the loudest stadia in the world? Both answers were checked that night. The Kansas City Chiefs blew out the vaunted New England Patriots 41-14. And it was on that night that the Guinness Book of World Records was here to measure that Arrowhead was indeed the loudest stadium in the NFL and one of the loudest in the world. Jamal Charles got things started off with a touchdown in both the first quarter and the second quarter. Cairo Santos had a walk-off field goal to end the first half, and the Chiefs were on their way to a rout at 17-0. The Chiefs' defense was tormenting Tom Brady. Tom Brady had a miserable night at Arrowhead on that evening. He suffered a sack strip fumble recovery at the hands of Tom Bahali. Tom Brady threw 2 picks on the evening, including a pick 6 in the second half by Chiefs defensive back Hussein Abdullah. In fact, it became such a rout at 41-7 that Bill Belichick decided to take Tom Brady out of the game and bench him. And into the game was the Patriot backup, making his NFL debut. And his name? Jimmy Garoppolo. For the Chiefs, it was a night to remember. Quarterback Alex Smith was nearly flawless, a quarterback rating of 144.6 and 3 touchdown passes. But a lot was discovered that night externally by the National Football League. Andy Reid's Big Red Renaissance was real. The Chiefs were real. And there was a belief that Kansas City was part of the big boys.
All right, thanks, Mitch. That is some good stuff. Everybody remembers that game back in 2014. But right now we're going to break down this one and bring on NFL Network's Mike Giardi. Mike, there's a lot of storylines coming into this game, but what are you most looking forward to seeing?
I'm very interested to see how the Patriots attack that offense for the Chiefs. Obviously, you look at the way they covered him last year, Gilmore on Watkins, and then late putting him on Kelsey. Yep. The way Watkins has sort of vanished, maybe it's Kelsey right out of the start for Gilmore. And you got to believe that they're going to double Tyreek Hill. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense unless they see something with that hamstring that says he's not as explosive. But then if you're the Chiefs, you go, okay, you want to do that. Well, we have this guy, McCole Hardman, who runs a 4.25 40. You don't have anybody on your roster that can cover that. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out.
All right, as a former defensive player, I want you to know attitude, mindset, those things have a factor in the NFL today. The way you've been watching the Chiefs defense and the Patriots defense, how do both of those teams kind of play into that mindset game as far as how to impose their will on the opposite offense?
Well, I love what Honey Badger and Thornhill have done for the Chiefs. I think they brought a much-needed energy, some playmaking ability, and some toughness. And that's not a knock on the guys that were there before. but Eric Berry was obviously dealing with a ton of injuries prior.
Yes.
This is healthy. This looks really good. They're also very smart. They play well together. So that's interesting to me. Patriots, look, they're coming off a bad effort against the Texans defensively. Give up 4 touchdown passes after giving up 4 all year long. They're irritated. They feel like they have a good plan, but now you got to go execute it.
I said all week that I believe that we were going to see the best version, whatever this Patriots team is, we're going to see the best version of them today because nobody in the league will use doubt and everybody saying that they can't do it better than the Patriots. You know, after that game all week, the national storylines were going to be in their ear and give them some locker room talk. Question for you regarding the Patriots offense, because you look at the stats and you look at some of the numbers and that it's not the same, but it's still good enough to put them where they are right now at 10-2, and they're a different team here at Foxborough. What have you seen from Tom Brady, particularly against pressure? Just what's been the reason that they haven't had the same kind of success that we've seen in the past?
Well, I look not just against pressure, but in general. He can't find anyone other than Edelman who consistently separates. And there are guys getting open at times, but I think he's got a narrow window right now of who he believes in and who he doesn't. And therefore, those guys aren't getting the looks. And then when he does come back to them, well, now they're covered. So they might have been open in the beginning, but now 2.5 seconds in the route, they're not, and he's putting the ball on the ground or putting it over somebody's head because he doesn't want to take the bad plays. Yeah. I think one of the things that was striking this week, I asked Josh McDaniels, do you have enough offensively to be the kind of team you want to be going forward? And he said, well, we're pretty good about not taking negative plays, and we're pretty good about not turning the ball over. Now, I've been covering this team for a long time. Yep. If that's what you're holding your hat to, that's something completely different than anything we've ever witnessed before in the Brady-Belichick era.
That's a good point.
The Patriot way has always been control the football, control the narrative. Do you see their window of being a championship-level team? Do you see that window closing, or is it more like they're just turning the page, having to find another way to create that dominant offensive mindset?
I think you started to see them sort of change their mindset last year because after the back-to-back losses in December, when they came back and played the Jets and the Bills, they decided we're going to be a downhill football team. We're going to hit you with power. And with so many defenses now being faster and smaller, that became an advantage for them. I think it was the same plan this year, but injuries right out of the chute with the offensive line. Fullback goes down. They haven't been able to consistently run the football. I do think there have been signs the last couple of weeks that maybe they can do it better than they've been doing it, but they haven't stuck with it. So now I'm curious, especially against the Chiefs, lower ranked against the run, will they stick with it in this one?
I'm curious, and I want to ask you because you mentioned him earlier, but Stephon Gilmore is a player that doesn't get enough credit because he's not the guy pounding his chest talking about how great he is. But he is really one of the keys. Because you look at the game against the Eagles, they put on Zach Ertz a lot. They didn't have Deshaun Jackson in that game. But for tonight, for Chiefs fans that don't watch a lot of Pats games, what can they expect and what makes him so good?
First of all, he's really smart. So I think and multiple times this year, he's run routes for the receiver and ended up being the intended target, if you will, and making the catch. So I think he understands sort of concepts and how they want to attack. And then when you're playing against a tight end like he did against Ertz, he said, you know, those guys, I can't match their physicality. They're bigger than me. They're stronger than me. But I'm faster than they are. Yeah. So they maybe make their cut, and I've almost baited them a little bit. I've given you a little bit more room than I would normally give a receiver, but when it comes time to close it, I can close it. You saw that against Ertz. He had some big plays late in that game, but for the better part of the game was completely invisible. I love the matchup between him and Kelsey just because I think those two guys will go at it for the better part of the game.
Yeah, that's a good stuff, and we appreciate your time.
Anytime.
It's Mike Giardi from
Thank
NFL Network, and right now we're going to send it to Matt McMullen talking to little Travis Kelce because if he has a good game today, he's on the verge of making some pretty special history.
Thanks, BJ. 1,000 yards is the benchmark for pass catchers in the NFL. It's an easy, uniform way to separate the best from the rest. Travis Kelce is no stranger to that benchmark, and with 77 yards today, he'll have his 4th straight 1,000-yard season. In a vacuum, 1,000 yards in one season is impressive. Only 4 players currently have 1,000 yards this season. It's not easy to achieve. But for Kelce, it's more than that. It's historic. No tight end in NFL history, not Tony Gonzalez, not Antonio Gates, not Jason Witten, and not Rob Gronkowski, has ever tallied 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Kelce can become the first here today. And even outside the tight end position, this is pretty rare. Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, and Julio Jones are the only other guys with active streaks like this. It won't be easy, as the Patriots have allowed more than 50 receiving yards to an opposing tight end just once this season, but if he can pull it off, it's history in the making right before our eyes. And what better team to achieve this against than New England? BJ, back to you.
All right, right, good stuff, Matt. Everybody's going to be watching for Kelce to get those 77 yards. A lot easier said than done going up against the Patriots team that he's played 5 times. He's averaging just 48 yards per game. The Patriots have always been really good about taking Travis Kelce away. But if it's Travis Kelce and you take away Tyreek Hill, it's going to leave guys open. And that's our second watch-to-watch point with this Chiefs offense. Is it an opportunity for a guy like McCole Hardman or Sammy Watkins to step up in a big situation in one-on-one coverage and make big plays to make a difference in this game?
Definitely. Turnovers. We got a time of possession. How do you possess the ball? First downs, running the ball, creating short third down opportunities. You got to be great on third down, but you got to possess the ball. That's the one thing I want everybody to watch. The amount of times the Patriots don't even secure the tackle. They rather go after a turnover, but try to get the ball back rather than just secure the tackle. So I'm thinking if we can secure the ball, continue to get the first downs, then take shots at the red zone touchdowns, that's just as important as it is scoring the ball.
Yeah, and they have to, because their offense isn't putting up the kind of numbers it did in the years past. It's not that same Patriots offense that we're used to seeing. So it's a reason that they lead the NFL in turnover differential. They're
That's
plus
right.
18. They have 6 non-offensive touchdowns this year, which has
big.
helped them. They've run more gimmick plays this season than I remember seeing in a long time. They take advantage of Julian Edelman being able to throw the football, and he's doing trick reverses and all kinds of stuff that we're not used to them seeing. And Mike Girardi talked about it earlier.
Yes,
talking
he
to
did.
Josh McDaniels about how do you lean on this offense, and he's talking about not turning the ball over, which is amazing that that's the goal for a team that's led by one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. It kind of tells you and gives you a peek into what Josh McDaniels is saying per what Mike Girardi told us. But Shawn, the other one, when you're looking at the numbers and the matchups and who stepped up as far as the Chiefs offense, when we've played the Patriots in the past, you've got to look at the running game. And I'm talking about the running game with those running backs out of the backfield, catching the ball out of the backfield. The last 3 games, 15 receptions, 279 yards, and 5 touchdowns to the running backs in the last 3 meetings for these Chiefs running backs out of the backfield. So we know that Damian Williams isn't going to play. We don't know how much Spencer Ware is going to get with his first action this season. So maybe it's LaShawn McCoy, maybe it's Darwin Thompson, but fully expect the Chiefs running backs out of the backfield to get involved in this game.
Yeah, they're a championship defense, a championship ball team. Defensively, you have to have a mindset of taking away the run, or forcing the ball to be in the air. That's what every team wants to do. They want to take the ball out, take the air out of the ball, take the running game away, and then get after your quarterback. The Patriots have done that historically better than anybody. But with the offense not clicking, like you're saying, the way they used to, it's allowing teams to control the clock using the rushing game. And that's one of the weaknesses of the Patriots defense now. Against the run, if we can stay equal, stay balanced, run-pass ratio, I think that will lead to a Chiefs victory.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those games that the guys up front take it personally, because the other times that we've played here, the team's always been pretty banged up. We made the point a couple of weeks ago that the Chiefs were getting their offensive line back. Those guys are all back this week, and this is a statement that the Chiefs can go out and make. And again, like we said, the last 3 times the Chiefs have played here in Foxborough, they're averaging 32 points per game. And I know there's nothing that Patrick Mahomes would like better than to come out and remind everybody why he should be in that MVP conversation and all of that. And again, we talked about with Mike Girardi, but the guy to watch for the Patriots defense, Stephon Gilmore. Where is he lined up? Is he shadowing Travis Kelce? Is he following Tyreek Hill? How are they handling that? And how are they doing it first half to second half? How are they mixing things up? Those are the things I'm excited about watching, Shawn. So right now, let's flip over to our Around the League segment, because you get to this point in the season, those games are starting to mean a lot around the league, and there's some big ones going on right now. And we know that Baltimore and Buffalo are going on right now. Denver and Houston. You look at the Denver Broncos, what they had done early in that game to the Houston Texans. Drew Lock is coming up. He's making plays.
Man, Drew Lock is making plays, but what you see from the Houston Texans, it's another week for a trap game, right? If they look forward to who they're about to play, if the Texans are looking forward to winning the AFC South, you allow a team like Denver, a team on the rise, they got a young, exciting quarterback, interjected with that defense, that rushing attack from Freeman and Phillip, they can surprise anybody any week.
Yeah, something that the Tennessee Titans, are paying close attention to that game. And the reason that Chiefs fans should pay close attention to the Tennessee Titans is what we mentioned earlier. They're going on the road to take on the Raiders, and we're rooting for the Titans to win that game, because the Chiefs can claim a 4th straight division title if they're able to take care of business against the Patriots, and if the Titans can go on the road and take care of business against the Raiders. And if the Titans, they've seen that score of that Texans game, and that's going to get right back into the mix. We saw it, and we talked about it with our loss down there, that Ryan Tannehill coming in and taking over for Marcus Mariota has provided a spark for that team, and they are rolling right now.
Yeah, they play very simple. Bully ball. Run the football, play sound defense, don't beat yourself, and then allow the game come to themselves. Very well-coached team, very disciplined. The Tennessee Titans is a team to expect to come out of the AFC South.
All right, now I want to talk about one NFC game because it's the big one tonight in the primetime matchup on Sunday Night Football. You've got the Seattle Seahawks going on the road to take on the Rams. This is a Rams team that was in the Super Bowl last year, and now it looks like they may go 9-7 and miss the playoffs because of how strong that NFC is right now. But that's still a team that would love nothing more than to spoil Russell Wilson's MVP season and this great season that the Seahawks are having right now.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson, he's heading a team that's undefeated on the road. They've been playing so well on the road because they do what we said. They play sound special teams. They have been having a knack for running the ball. And then Russell Wilson's been amazing on third down, converting third downs, keeping the drives going, keeping plays alive to allow Tyler Lockett, DJ Metcalf, and more, and those guys to get open. Great team. Seattle Seahawks is to be reckoned with when it comes to the postseason.
And Chris Carson's having a great season for those guys, and he's staying healthy. That is a completely different offense when he is in there. And right now, Shawn, let's move to the fantasy football segment, because if you're like most of us that are in some sort of fantasy football league, it's playoff time for a lot of these 12-team leagues. And I'm just curious, who has been underperforming all year?
I got you.
That you feel like you haven't counted on, you didn't do what you thought during the regular season, you drafted him or you paid a lot for him in an auction. Who do you see that hasn't had a great season but could step up these last few weeks?
Man, there's a wide receiver, Brown, for the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
There's a wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, James Washington.
Is it A.J. Brown or Corey Brown?
A.J.
Corey
Brown.
Davis. A.J. Brown.
A.J.
Okay.
Brown. James Washington. And then Devin Parker for the Miami Dolphins. These are teams that have been unappreciative because they started off slow. But the matchups, the way the quarterback, Fitzpatrick, has been finding Parker. Devlin, his go-to guy is Washington. And then in Tennessee, we talked about Tannehill. He's been able to find Brown. So those three matchups, if you're a 5 or 6 seed and you somehow snuck into the playoffs, you're about to face, after this week, the number 1 or 2 team in your league. Hey, throw a Hail Mary. Get those two guys, and try to win the league that way.
Yeah, you've been talking about James Washington all year because I was on the Deontay Johnson bandwagon, and now they flip-flopped.
Yes.
Now they flip-flopped. Now Deontay Johnson taking a little backseat fantasy-wise, and James Washington has stepped up and made plays. John, let's move into our closing thoughts for this one as we're getting ready for kickoff here in about 20-30 minutes. But what are your just overall, you talked about taking care of the football. If the Chiefs can do that today, if they win the turnover battle, do you think that's enough? If you just look at that stat, they get more possessions that they're going to win this game.
The first time in a long time, I got to feel the Chiefs are maybe one of the most talented teams in the league this year. If you eliminate penalties and you eliminate the turnover ratio, and it comes down to just calling offensive plays, calling defensive plays, and it comes down to let the best team win, there's nobody I would pick over the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they can go into any game, any matchup, and they know they have the skill level. So that confidence, that trust is something we've been seeing build week after week after week since the Minnesota game, and it's time for it to just explode tonight.
Yeah, identities of football teams are built by coming into places like this on the road in a hostile environment, in a place that the defending Super Bowl champion, they just do not lose here.
That's right.
That you look at the numbers, whether it's leading at halftime, or I believe in the last decade, and a quarterback under the age of 25 years old has not won in this building in almost 10 years, which is amazing to think about the kind of success that they've had here in Foxborough, and that's what the Chiefs are up against right now. And you talk to these guys, we spent time around them, they're locked in, ready to go, and they are excited about this matchup. And again, the chess match is the one I'm watching. For me, it's Stephon Gilmore. Okay. Who is he lined up on early in this game? Who is he lined up on late? Is it Travis Kelce? Is it Tyreek Hill? How do they utilize him? He's one of the best defensive players in football, arguably the best cornerback in football. How do they utilize him? Bill Belichick, he's the chess piece that I'm excited to see. But before we let everybody go, do you have any parting thoughts for us?
Hey, man, let's be ready to hit these jokers in the mouth. Let's put Tom Brady on his butt, peel him off the ground over and over and over again. You want to define success? That's how I define success here. How many times can we get to Tom Brady and put him on his backside?
This guy's been so fired up all week. I thought he was going to get out there and try to play. We appreciate all of you for listening. Kickoff is just around the corner. So for BJ Kissel, Shawn Barber, and everybody behind the scenes that you don't see, Evan Miller, John Matthews, Glenn Conley, and Anna Topkin back in Kansas City, we appreciate you for watching. Game is on CBS with their one crew, Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, and then don't forget, after the game, check all the Chiefs social channels. You'll catch Shawn Barber, the Barbershop, and Voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, on Chiefs Rewind, breaking it all down, giving you exclusive player interviews, the whole deal. We appreciate you for joining us on Field Pass. Enjoy the game. Chiefs Kingdom.